Hey there, and good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, my special guest, who I'm going to introduce in just a moment. Adil Kassam. I'll give the name away here. Adil, thanks for joining us, and viewers, hey, thanks for being with us here on Acceleration this Friday afternoon. It's a live program, as it always is. I'm coming to you live from our studio in Boulder, Colorado. Adil, where are you coming in live from?
I'm on Vancouver Island, actually, just in my little forest abode. How are you,
Perfect.
Steve?
Man, great. Boy, that forest abode looks perfect there, Adele. And Adele is a co-founder of Unify. Actually, I'm going to give him a formal invitation here in just one second. We're real pleased to have him with us. He is just a super guy that leads Unify. We're over on the Unify Facebook page. We're on the Humanities Team Facebook pages, also on the Sign Network. And so shout out to all of you. Hey, thanks for being here. And also, I want to invite you to go to sign.network to learn about this incredible opportunity. It's synergy in action. John Raymer and his wife Summer and many others have created this incredible collaboration of people that are taking action to become conscious all over the world. And I want to invite you to check it out and learn about them. And also, just shout out to Humanities Stream Plus members, folks that are with Unify, with Humanities Team, people, you conscious viewers all over the world. Hey, thanks for being here. Now, as we always do, we're going to get to comments here during this program. So if you have comments or questions, just throw them in chat on Facebook or on Zoom, wherever you might be, and we'll get to as many comments and questions here during the hour as we can. Now, our focus here for this program is how the latest secret scientific discoveries light our journey into oneness. So that's our focus. We're going to talk about actually an incredible collaboration that Unify Humanities Team have with Nassim, Haramein, and Gregg Braden. We're actually going to show you some film clips here too. So let me, though, bring our special guest back on camera. Let me give him a proper introduction here. So Adil Kassam, he is the co-founder and principal member of Unify and the executive director of Resonate Creative Labs. Unify is a global nonprofit organization that creates and organizes mass acts of collective intention and action, such as their incredibly powerful global synchronized meditations to foster world peace. He is a highly successful conscious business leader through his work at Resonate Creative Labs. Adele creates transformational entertainment and products. Also a great friend of Humanities Team, who has provided us with tremendous support in spreading our messages of hope and possibility. Adele, thanks again for joining us. Such a pleasure to be with you here today, my friend.
Oh, honored to be with you too, Steve. Really, what a family coming together. Hey, it's just been like amazing, kind of like an amazing story of all these contributors and kind of what we're going to get to share today and what's coming down the line. Really excited to be here with you.
Yeah, back at you. Real excited. And we're going to talk about science that is supporting the work that Unify does, that Humanities Team does, and that candidly really needs to go viral because it's such important science, it's such important research. Get to that. Adele, I talked a little bit about your background with Creative Labs and with Unify, and then your headquarters is out on this beautiful island right off of Vancouver. Do you want to maybe just share a little bit about your organization and location?
Sure. Yeah. Sure. So I guess the original inception was with a small group of us that kind of got the same dream or vision to do a global synchronized meditation on December 21st, 2012, that historic day in the Mayan calendar. So that's like, God, what's that, 9 years ago now, right? And uh, so we from groups in Jerusalem, Chichen Itza, Palenque, Tikal, Stonehenge, the pyramids of Giza, all orchestrating their own events. They kind of got the call from Spirit at the same time, and we realized that there's a small window of time where we're all kind of awake. So what if we were to do a global meditation at that time? And we weren't even sure really what that was. We're just kind of making it up. And so we sent film crews to each of the regions, and and then it kind of caught fire. There's groups went to all this other sacred sites around the planet. I think there's something like 800 sites or something like that. And Christians were in churches, and Jews and synagogues, and Muslims and mosques, and Hindus and temples, and it was kind of something that bridged religion and spirituality at that time, that historic moment, and then kind of got bit by that bug and continued to grow that with this family over the last 9 years. And I think we've done, I don't know, maybe around 90. I think it's, was it like 89 or 90 global meditations? Well, usually with many different partner organizations, and of course that's our whole MO is to unify. So it's been and we realized that then the driver of that is media storytelling, and so we try to get our feet wet in that, and do short form storytelling about about this age that we're all participating in. Try to seed a bit of hope and love, and the things that we know that are in our heart that are actually true. Increase the little signal to noise ratio. So yeah, so it's been a journey with amazing collaborators and groups of people from around the world, and it's been fun collaborating with Humanity's team. We've got a chance to converge on a few different amazing things, and pretty excited about what we're about to converge on.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow, we are in the middle of something that's just important to all of humankind, actually. Almost 8 billion people. This science that we're going to talk about needs to go viral. It is that important. But before we get to that, want to I mentioned in the introduction here for Adele, these Global Synchronized Meditations. Now, I'll bet almost every viewer here has seen one or more of their Global Synchronized Meditations. They are awesome. Adele, you want to just share a little bit about them and how many people have viewed some of these things all over the world?
Oh man, well, you get statistics from Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and it's like I I I sometimes reluctant to say the numbers because they sound unrealistic, but I mean millions of people. It's been over 50 million people on a couple of the meditations, and actually the meditations were measured by the Global Coherence Initiative and HeartMath. We're able to register like an actual measurable shift in ultrasensitive magnetometers around the planet when we're all synchronized in prayer and meditation. So yeah, it's God, I don't want to sound so grandiose, but my sense is that many of us incarnated for this time, for this, the shift of the ages, the great ascension or the awakening. And as things seem to be going through a profound contraction in many ways, there's also simultaneously a renaissance happening, right? And so I think a lot of the viewers here have got to be privy to that or participate in that, and transformational festivals or synchronized ceremonies that are happening around the planet, or there's so many expressions of the great unification that's happening around the planet. So it's caught hold a number of times, kind of, I guess, amongst light workers and meditators and yogis in the choir, but bridged into the mainstream a few times, I think. And so uh, we're beginning to sense and pattern recognize what actually catalyzes that. And it's intricate, like the orchestration of readiness and time in society, like for something to like actually get past all the noise that's out there and catch fire a little bit. But we've been doing them consistently on solstice and equinoxes, and it just so happens that those days are when these kind of recognized global days line up, right? World Water Day is on March 22nd. The spring equinox is on March 21st. So there's a window there. June 20th and 21st is World Refugee Day and World Yoga Day, and embedded in kind of World Unity Week. So that's the summer solstice energy. And then the International Day of Peace, and all the movements around world peace and social justice happen on the fall equinox. And on December 21st, there's World Spirit Day. So kind of an interfaith day of the divine. And so those seem to be the anchor points. And, if you really think about it, even before there was a peace day or a World Water Day, I mean, humanity has observed those sacred convergence points since time immemorial and continue to this day. So there's a powerful convergence coming up, I think, on 12/21/2021 this year as well. We're tracking. So
Yes, so thank you for bringing those in. These are all things that we're looking at and collaborating on, and that we're super excited about. Now, and Adil, I wanted to just share, I think he's usually behind the camera. He's organizing, creating all of these incredible things. We haven't been able to get him in front of the camera too many times, so exciting to be here, with you to unveil all of this important work that we're doing. Let me get to the campaign right now. So now many of you know that Nassim Haramein is the leader in unified physics. He is the guy that has picked up the mantle, candidly, that Albert Einstein set down before his death, that was looking to find the constants across the universe that could square equations with math and science that would have everything fall into place in a simple and elegant way that shares this is the map of the universe. This is the order to the universe. And again, nobody's been able to do it. Nassim Haramein is just on the verge of bringing that research out in the world. So we've been collaborating with him, also with Gregg Braden, who has been working together with Nassim on this research. Together they went down into Latin America, where they excavated some artifacts that back up some of this research that Nassim and Gregg are doing. And this research, what it does, just in layman's terms, is it speaks to this field that's so often described as out there, or in religion even, it's up in the clouds, or science, current physics, is out there. And what this research shares is that the field is in you. It's in each person. It's in all of life. The ocean exists in the drop of water. The body exists in the cell. That the magnificent energy that we could even call God, the divine, cosmos, love, life, universe, it's in each and every person. And so these are some of the implications to this are extraordinary. One of the things Nassim Haramein likes to share is that you can fall in love with yourself. This is a scientist speaking, isn't it interesting? He says, you can fall in love with yourself. Why? Because now you know who you really are. The extraordinary, potential that you have, your co-creative possibility. So now there's a lot more we can share, but let's go to we've got about a 2.5 minute clip from a free program. It's part of a series called Secret Scientific Discoveries. It's with Nassim Haramein and Gregg Braden. Let's go take a look at it, and then Adil and I are going to come back and talk about it.
People don't realize that current physical theory, physics, does not include living things. It doesn't include you and I, right? It's just the material world. Because there's nothing in those theoretical models that allows for atoms to all of a sudden get together, 100 trillion of them, and make a cell. Just one cell is too complex. Under random function, it would take too long, since the beginning of the Big Bang would not be long enough. It would need billions and billions and billions of years more in order for even the probability, which is very slight, that all these atoms would make a cell, and then that cell might by chance be made, and then boof, there was a little lava that flowed over it and killed it. Now it would take another, billions and billions of years before it got the chance to do it again. This is not possible, right? So in physical theory, there's no equation, there's no understanding how biology can emerge. In these new equations, all of a sudden, coherent behaviors are expected from the theory, from the math. You expect that things would start to self-organize. You expect that they would eventually make biological structures and that they would, evolve to certain levels of complexity. And you even expect from these theory that eventually there would be enough information flow through the system, enough feedback through the system, that the system that it built itself on, the feedback that built the system, would have a feedback of consciousness, that is, it would become self-aware. And so you can not only account for the material world and the biology, but you can as well start to account, to what consciousness actually is, and what is the energy level of consciousness. And when you do that, you realize that actually that piece is the flow of creation. That is the fundamental, energy that runs the whole thing. Basically, the universe is learning about itself, and you're the one doing the learning for it.
Okay, so amazing. We're going to go to one other clip, but before I do, so if you go to secretscientificdiscoveries.com, so secretscientificdiscoveries.com, you'll see this free series. There's a 60-minute program with Nassim. There's a 60-minute program with Gregg, Braden, and that gets into all of this research with these implications for what this means in this day and age, the possibility in terms of how we can live our lives individually and collectively. It's amazing. Okay, so let's go now. We're going to go to a clip with Gregg and Nassim together talking, and then Adil and I are going to come back and just talk about this, our collaboration to get this science out in the world. Okay, here we go.
This is where it gets so interesting. There is something called a pyramid of knowledge. It's an inverted pyramid with the point at the bottom. And each layer of that pyramid is one of the scientific pursuits. So the mathematics is the very bottom. It's the apex at the bottom. And then the next level is physics based upon those mathematics. The next level is chemistry based upon those physics. The next level is the earth sciences, including geology, based upon the chemistry, and then we go to the life sciences and then the psychological sciences. And there are all kinds of subdivisions that can be made, but here's the point. If you think about this, when new discoveries change the way we think about any one of those layers, everything that layer is the foundation for, everything that rests upon that layer must change to reflect those understandings. That's why we're putting this course together for you, because new discoveries have overturned conventional thinking when it comes to physics. Physics is one of the most fundamental ways of thinking, but those discoveries are not being reflected necessarily in the rest of the sciences. In biology and evolution, new discoveries are being made. So we've got these amazing discoveries at these low levels, but the higher levels are now using literally false assumptions based upon obsolete science to solve the problems of the world today.
Well, it's changing slowly, and it's exciting to see it change. But as well, to your pyramid, I'd like to add one thing.
Sure.
You had math at the apex. I would say it's geometry and math.
Absolutely.
Because math is an expression, it's a language that defines relationship.
Absolutely.
And that's something that is kind of lost in the shuffle in advanced physics in many cases. And this is something that Einstein was very insistent on. And that's why he was able to geometrize space-time and, produce general relativity. And so what we are getting to, and in these series, we're discussing it both in our different ways, is that we're showing that there is a fundamental geometry to space, right? And that this geometry of space, or this energy in space, is the source of all these other levels of the pyramid, right? Like the material world, right? The physics, the physicality that includes the forces, the scales, the relationship between all scales, all relationships, all ratios.
Absolutely.
And because the universe doesn't do, algebra, the universe does relationship ratios. And when we understand these ratios, then they repeat, right, across the scales. And as they do, they produce the different scales that we have in different fields of expertise that we've put in boxes.
Into the boxes. That's the boxes.
With not knowing the relationship between them. And what we've done now is that we've shown the relationship and the mathematical formalism, in my case, to show the relationship between these scales and the forces acting at different scales, the relationship between these forces, and as well the fundamental constants that emerge from it, and that we have kind of like floating in the air in physics and even in chemistry and biology. And now they start to relate to each other because you have the scaling factor, right?
Well, sure, it begins to make sense. And this is what we were saying. Nature doesn't know about those boxes. So what we've done in this course, if we want to honor you, and what we know is that everyone learns differently. Everyone learns differently. Mm-hmm. And some people need more details, some need less. You all have a left brain and you all have a right brain. I remember my science friends all used to say, it's all about the brain, forget about the heart. And my artist musician friends would always say, it's all about the heart, forget about the brain. The truth is they work together. They cooperate to help us be the best versions of ourselves. So what we've done is we want to honor your left brain as well as your right brain. We're going to give you the building blocks of the new discoveries, the fundamental understandings of biology, of the evolutionary discoveries, the DNA that's telling you that you are not the product of a random process from the primitive forms of life that you and I have been led to believe in the physics. So we're honoring both. And when we get to some of the math, and this is, I think, more for Nassim, because he really wants to share the new discoveries, he wants you to understand, and I do as well, not just to hear the words, but he's going to say, look at what I found. I want you to understand how this works. For some of you, if it's too technical, hang in there. It's all going to be worth it. It's all going to come together in the end.
Yes.
I have some more experiential pieces based on intuition and the new neurons in the heart and how we apply those to self-regulate.
Whatever you do, do not panic.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Or if you do, follow these techniques because they will help you with the panic.
It will, yes,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, so I think we just wanted to say this to you as we launch into this course to give you a sense of who we are, why we've come together, why we think this is important. I've never seen a course like this, Nassim, and I'm so honored. Nassim is in the process of writing a pivotal, seminal paper summarizing his discoveries. By the time this is released, I think that paper may be available. And I feel very blessed that you've taken the time away from that.
All right. So, and this program's going to the Humanity Stream Plus platform, but so this is a brand new program. Actually, we've never shown this video footage before. So very first time that we've taken this out into the world. And they're talking about a free program series. It's called, if you go to secretscientificdiscoveries.com, secretscientificdiscoveries.com, you can sign up for the free series. There's 60 minutes with Gregg Braden, and then there's 60 minutes with Nassim Haramein. We recorded this down at Nassim's lab in Southern California. So just phenomenal science that is a part of this program, and invite you to go to the page, secretscientificdiscoveries.com, and check it out. Now, so as you can see, what they're talking about are the mechanics of the whole universe, like the user's guide, the roadmap. And as they both explained, the whole basis in math and in physics, which then everything else rests on, is now shifting. That physics as we understand it today, where everything is a different equation, there's no similarity, there are no cosmic constants, that is getting moved aside. That we're finding out that is not accurate science. So, and the implications are enormous. So many things we could talk about here, but Adil, what are things that you want to bring in as you watch this?
I've been such a fan of Gregg Braden and Nassim Haramein's work for probably, I don't know, 12, 15 years. Grown to be great friends with them and had so many illuminations about confirmations of things that perhaps many of us have had insights about or have even experienced, right, in our meditative journeys. We know that the world is unified, right? But it is a pivotal historical moment where luminaries like Gregg Braden and Nassim are actually being able to articulate the architecture, the math behind how the universe actually works. What can emerge from this is, I mean, they've talked about the physics and the math, but there's also a whole series of technologies that emerge from this understanding, emerge from a deeper understanding of how light works, how gravity works, how the unified field and actually the ambient energy of the entire universe works. Imagine that we could, there was a way to tap that and create usable electricity for everybody on the planet, like that's like free and available. I was Steve, I was trying to explain this to my mom and thoroughly confusing her. She's like, well, why are you so excited about this? And maybe this is useful. I said, Mom, do you think that fish know that they're in the ocean? Do you think that, like, and she thought about it for a minute. She's like, I don't know. I'm like, probably not, right? Like, it's just their world. They're in this fluid medium, but that's the only world they've ever known. Humans are just the same thing. We're actually in a fluid medium called a unified field that sometimes we sense and intuit and even experience, have insight about, but there's very little confirmation of that in science. There's a motion and movement to it and an architecture to it. And so, as I was explaining to my mom, I said, okay, look, here's what Einstein did. Okay, so we look out into the world and you see the world out here, something physical, and we see as far as we can into the night sky. Let's say we see the stars, right? This evoked our imagination since time immemorial. But so we developed this powerful technology called a telescope, so we can see much farther and see, maybe see, how the actual moon actually looks, or begin to observe, with really powerful telescopes, other celestial bodies, and begin to understand their architecture. At some point, we can't look that far. It's math, right? And then it's the same thing with, if we observe, the universe that we see in front of us, we look deeper and more granular at it, maybe with a microscope, right? We can go in and even the best, the highest power electron microscope, we can only see a certain amount of detail. After that, it's all abstraction and math. And here's the weird thing. The math at the very microscopic level, the small, doesn't work with the math at the large. And I asked her, I said, do you know what like unifies that? Do you know what the commonality is between those two sets of math? And my mom kind of figured, she said, with the person looking at it. I'm like, exactly, the observer, and the great mystery has been in consciousness. So it's a very bold thing to say, but in Nassim beginning to discover the pattern of the toroidal field around the planet, around atoms, around electrons, around the galaxy, around the universe, and around humans, there's a fundamental underlying pattern that converges at a Bindu point and creates a set of nested sacred geometries. The interesting thing is, the visions that our mystics have had, are basically delineating a cross section of some aspect of that architecture. We call them mandalas or yantras, or even calendars. They're architected just the same way. So there's this. So to some degree, I would say, well, I say this from my heart. I believe that Nassim, completed the unified field solution. And his paper, the seminal paper that they're about to release, and I've been bugging him. I'm like, Nassim, when are you going to get to it? And I think that the decision that they've made is to release it on this historic date of 02/22/2022, February 22nd, 2022. The first big release was on November 11th, 2011. A lot of us were there for that. And so the architecture of the ones to the twos, I think it was a thing. And so anyway, so coming soon to to a humanity near you this seminal paper that I feel in many ways is his magnus opus that ties together all of these phase relationships and ratios and understandings of all the solutions that he's discovered. He can present it in such a poetic and elegant way that my mom could get it or 4-year-olds could get it. But he literally discovered the architecture of God or the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
What are the implications of that? What are the implications of that?
And just to tag on to that, one of the things in the 60-minute program with Nassim, we actually get into, they say God, the divine, is omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. And we said, we get into that discussion of, well, Nassim, now, doesn't this mean then that the ocean is in the cell? So doesn't this mean that we can all tap into this? And he said, yes, it does. and we're talking about how this works. And, on some level, this is a conscious viewer audience. So on some level, I think everybody gets that. We've felt into that in meditation and stillness, right? But now, the science is here that is affirming this. And Nassim and Gregg have shared that as these what Nassim calls cosmic constants, which means that all the equations across dark matter and planets and solar systems, as these equations are shared, that sum all of them, that have similarity across the entire universe, that people even tear up. That the complexity is being reduced now to something so simple, and so as this simple little elegant design that explains how the universe works. And how spirituality works, right, is just astounding. So and again, secretscientificdiscoveries.com. That's how you sign up for it's a free series. It's 2 hours, 1 hour with Gregg, Braden, 1 hour with Nassim Haramein. You can learn more about it at that website. Now we're going to bring in here in the second 30 minutes of the program, when we've already come into it. We invite in our Humanity Stream Plus members. So because all of this new program, this new science program, will go to the Humanity Stream Plus platform. We just finished the Global Oneness Summit, and that entire 9-day summit is now on the Humanity Stream Plus platform. And our members, we invite them to come in face to face so they can talk to Adil, bring in comments or questions. So we'll invite any of them in that might be here. If anybody wants to come on camera, invite you to come on camera and talk to Adil face to face. Or a lot of people would prefer to just share comments, and I'll go ahead and walk in your comments or questions. So just an invitation to all of you. Also, friends out on Facebook, humanities.team, the Sign Network, feel free to walk in your questions. Adil and I will get to them. So
Steve,
let's just
take some
yeah.
questions. I just wanted to, just from the bottom of my heart, thank you and the entire Humanities team for this selfless service you provide for humanity and Global Oneness Summit. And this is such a profound offering. Imagine we could teach our kids this, and you're giving it away for, you're offering it as a gift. I just thank you so much. Really, thank you so much for your service and what you're doing for the world. It's profound.
Well, thank you for that, Adil. Let me take this opportunity actually to share what we do and what Unify is doing. We're nonprofit organizations. So Humanities team, we were founded in June 2003. Neil Donald Walsh and myself launched it back in Wilsonville, Oregon, back in June 2003. And our whole mission is to make conscious living pervasive worldwide by 2040. So in the next 20 years, for conscious living to be pervasive worldwide. And of course, we're not on a pace to deliver that right now. And we're the word pace we get from planetary awakening, conscious evolution. So we're not on a pace to deliver that. And so we're every day getting up to bring in, people like Adil and partners and faculty partners like Gregg, Braden, and Nassim Haramein that can share science and can share from trauma as faculty about higher love relationships, etc. All of the pieces and parts of what conscious living is are the things that we're devoted to. And this is why we created the Humanity Stream Plus platform, is We've got hundreds of programs on Humanities Stream Plus. There's a 7-day free trial there. I think we'll put a link up in the window, but if you go to humanitiesteam.org/stream, you'll go to the platform. You'll see these hundreds of programs that are there, and it's just a revolutionary platform. You'll just be amazed at how visual, graphical, intuitive it is. My 87-year-old mom could surf around and could get from program to program. It's the least expensive program in the industry that's delivering these streamed programs, hundreds of them. And as I mentioned, the Global Oneness Summit now is on that platform. This new science program is on the platform. There's a picture when you go to humanitiesteam.org/stream, you land on this platform. And I just want to say, and we're just scrolling it now, so here's some of the master classes that you'll see at the top with all of the leaders that you're well familiar with. And then these additional transformational education programs, feature-length movies, meditations, medium, learning to be a medium. There are all of these different categories you can see. We're just totally excited about this platform. We're translating now into foreign languages. We want to have every person in every home, in every language, in every faith tradition be able to just bring these hundreds of conscious living programs into their home. And this is one of the things that can get us on pace so that we can individually and collectively live consciously in the next 20 years. So now I want to come back to my dear friend here, Adil, because Unify is an incredible organization. They're devoted to the very same thing. And the things that they've put together, their synchronized meditations and these programs that Adil was sharing of that are coming out in the 22s here, in this year ahead, they're phenomenal. They've got 2 million people just on their Facebook group all over the world that are devoted to doing this work, a lot of youth that are involved. Adil, share more. We're just totally stoked about the incredible work that you guys do.
Oh, thank you, Steve. Really, it's honestly like a testament to all the participants, right? Like what would we be if we weren't like a unified humanity? So there's so many organizations and so many people that are switching on, our aim is to make a little pineal gland on the internet where we can propagate truth and meaning. And so I feel so dharmically aligned with what you're doing with humanities team, and sure would love to share more of Humanities stream with the Unify audience. Perhaps we could do that at some stage. I think it would be a really meaningful gift for people to be able to dive into kind of the depth of wisdom that's there. And so it looks really, really interesting. And I think a lot of amazing things are going to be breaking there, like first. So it's, just hats off to you again in terms of all the work, the hard work that you guys have done to put that together. And excited to kind of, share parts of it with the Unify audience. Yeah. And the Unify audience is primarily on Facebook, and we've got an email list as well, and you can sign up for that email list if you want at unify.org. But we're going to be end up sharing a fair bit from what you guys are up to over this coming year. Humanities team and Steve, I hope we can work together closely and unifies many different organizations that are part of this new narrative, that part of this new, lack of a better term, new age, right? That's emerging. Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
yeah. And there are incredible organizations that too many to share here now, but that are partnering with us and partner with Unify. And because there's one thing about a unified world is there's no such thing as competition. There is no such thing as competition. We're all cells in the body of Earth, of humankind. And that's the whole point, is as the science tells us, no, this is true. This is how it works. We're a holograph. It's a fractal universe. As in layman's terms, this kind of research is shared. What it says is we're all actually in this together, and where we start operating as a body, with our proper organs that are serving the body, where we're a red blood cell or a white blood cell also serving the body. That's how the whole world starts living consciously, where it's not, our self is now, the fence posts are moved out. It's not just me and my wife and 2 kids. It's the whole of humanity. It's the whole of the planet. It's all of the animal life. It's all of the plant life. That's who we are. That's our true self. When we reduce this science down, this is what it says. And then once we have that awareness, then of course once we're all connected. Well, then we have to be responsible, right? You have to be responsible to what you're connected to, and then responsibility leads to positive action, and then positive action, we're all just doing these nurturing, healing, beautiful things on the earth together, and voila, all of a sudden, bam, we've created this whole conscious world and this conscious civilization. And that's what drives Nassim and Gregg. It's what drives Adil and I, is just that journey into the truth, where our soul is the compass that's driving us into this future possibility, which is so beautiful. And of course, as we look out on the world now, we know things can be, so much more beautiful than they are today. So, and actually, a lot of beautiful things are happening. The media doesn't cover them. What we're talking about here now, is amazing. So there are questions coming in from people. Adele, I'm going to bring one in from Jennifer, and she says, Adele, what are the ways Nassim's new scientific findings can be put to use in a day-to-day way? I don't mean to put you on the spot. She did put that question to you, Adele.
Well, great
That's
question. It was from Jennifer, did you say?
Yeah, Jennifer.
Awesome question. Jennifer, I end up thinking about that a fair bit. And I think part of the reveal of this paper is going to be concomitant with the reveal of a series of technologies. There's energy technologies, there's a series of health and medical technologies, there's a series of just advanced propulsion technologies as well. I think that the math is really fascinating, to kind of us very left brain types. But for most of default society, they're not going to really believe it until they see it, and until it's something that kind of meets them in their daily life. So we've had this profound opportunity to kind of peek into the lab and see the emergence of this intellectual property and these series of technologies that are coming out. And I'm in awe. I'm really in awe. Like, a close friend of mine said, in the default world, the only thing that actually changes the world really is technology. He's like, think about it, the printing press. Like, yes, there's a big, there's a necessary understanding for us to develop and utilize the printing press, but look at what that technology did for the world. Then think about what the computer did for the world. Then think about what the internet did for the world. He's got a very unique perspective, but the right understanding of the unified field, the physics, means that it's going to permeate engineering, and ultimately a new set of conscious technologies is coming to the world. Within the next, I'm going to be so bold to say, in the next 4 to 6 months, you're going to see a veritable tidal wave of these technologies. And I feel like I don't want to give it all away because steal their thunder, but once you see them, you can't unsee them. Some of them are not only technologies from the future, but technologies that we've lost touch with from the past. I'm going to go so far to say that, if this is indeed if Nassim did indeed discover the architecture of life, of how, the operating system of the universe, he's developed technologies that are harmonic with that, can actually enhance that. And he's created an ark, like an Ark of the Covenant. Like, what was going on there? That thing was propagating life. I hope he reveals this. I mean, it'll all be revealed in time, but I guess once you see it, you can't unsee it. Your life is filled with this hope, because you can peer into the future and see, like, oh my God, people are going to have high frequency generators in their home. They're going to be having these conscious water technologies that structure, their water to become more conscious, as a medium. And even these medical technologies, like some of it looks like it's almost like out of science fiction, but it's not. It's fact, and you can actually watch what it's doing. I'm reticent to talk about it because I please stay tuned to Humanities Team and Unify and Resonant Science Foundation and Resonant Technologies Group as well. And you're gonna see some things that like me you can't unsee in the next 6 months. Get ready.
Yeah, no kidding. So this whole Carl Sagan thing, that we're all made of the same stardust, and which Nassim is bringing in, where he's saying omnipresence, omniscience, omnipotence, that we actually can feel into those properties, which brings in this whole, so in health and well-being, as we understand this, and that it's the vibrational frequency from which we operate, and that where we live in those higher frequencies of love and of health and well-being, and don't allow ourselves to drop down into those lower frequencies where we experience sickness and illness. There's so much here. I mean, the whole health and well-being field gets stood on its head here. Western medicine, as we know, that is more about curing or just stopping illness and disease. It's not going at all to the source of the problem. We're going right down into who we are and how we can actually heal from the inside out. So they're huge implications. And all of the things Adele covered, and so many things. I mean, really, the world gets stood on its head here. Adele, there's another question that came in, which is perfect, because I mentioned this collaboration with Nassim and Gregg, and we've got this whole these programs that are rolling out, but you've got some products that are coming out here relating to this. And Mark asks, he says, are you familiar with the Arc Crystal over at Nassim's Taurus Tech site? And you might talk about the things that products you all are working on relating to this science as well.
You want me to discuss some of the other technologies that are coming out?
Yeah, and you could even start the Arc Crystal on Nassim's site. You're probably well familiar with that. And
yeah, and there's a series of other versions of the Arc Crystal coming out as well, in ways that you can couple them together. But wow, where to start? Okay, so there's wow. Okay. There's a series of technologies that they've developed that basically heals any discordance in the body whatsoever, and our relationship to pathogens. They can actually stimulate the limbic system through frequency in a particular way that causes an immunomodulation effect, which means that there's 10 to 100x increases in all the key immunoindicators like interleukins A, interleukins B, like basically your immune system that's fighting off all these pathogens, it gets boosted in this really crazy way and wipes out all the pathogens in the body. They're not only able to kill or resolve any relationship that you'd have with a pathogen, they're also able to grow things back. I've seen some really crazy things. I should describe. I wonder if I can describe it. Okay, there's these things inside the body. They're not really recognized or understood by the existing medical profession as these very small embryonic-like cells. They're called V cells. And basically, they found a way to make really coherent light. It's something called a phase conjugated laser. So with all this understanding, they're able to create a harmonic laser. Okay, and as they applied that coherent light to these V cells, they turn into stem cells. Here's a weird little thing, that wherever they put this coherent light on the body, those little V cells, which are actually stem cells, embryonic stem cells, gravitate towards that region and are able to regrow that region. So they're able to do from your own body kind of targeted stem cell growth of anything. Man, some of the things I saw that I can't unsee is that there was a police officer that was a paraplegic who he'd been shot in the back and didn't have function and use of his legs anymore. The holy grail was they were able with this technology to grow back his nerves, grow back his ability to walk. Pretty revolutionary. They're doing things now with Alzheimer's and dementia with this technology. So these are just a few of the technologies where they're able to. Our current understanding of disease and discordance is as outmoded as our physics. And these, I'm just giving you a little touch of, a couple of the technologies, but there are many of them that I've got to witness with my own eyes, and even, been treated with. And there's an entirely new paradigm of what we understand as health and wellness coming, and actual ways, it's a set of technologies that allow us to unify with the existing field, or to increase our coherence with life or the divine better. They were able to determine that a human body actually has something called the pristine blueprint, like a geometric blueprint of what, like, our cells are patterning from this blueprint, and you can actually increase, the various viscera, the various layers of the body's relationship to that blueprint. As it communicates better, we exhibit higher states of health, coherence, vitality, even the resolution of things like terminal illnesses. So I could keep going, and I really would like, I'm really, really thrilled about what's coming down the line for humanity. And if you consider how much the restriction and the fear and the constriction that people are experiencing with the current state of affairs, right? It's all been resolved behind the scenes. So coming soon, like, please, keep a close eye on Resonant Science Foundation, Humanities Team, Unify, and Resonant Technologies Group. Those are going to be majorly or important places where a lot of this information is going to break over the next year. And with that information, there'll be an opportunity to participate and utilize and apply those technologies. So you can have your own experiential understanding, as opposed to just like a mental illumination.
Yeah, beautiful. Wow. Thank you, Adil. Yeah, and let me just invite you all to, do your own research. Look at what Nassim Haramein is doing. Look at what Gregg Braden is doing in these programs that secretscientificdiscoveries.com. They get into all of this, including why it's actually forbidden. Gregg Braden talks extensively about why it's forbidden to teach this science in a classroom. And just to cut to the quick, it's because it upends many of the pillars of our economic institutions as they exist today. So it's forbidden. You can't learn about this in a classroom. And these two men are guided. There's a beautiful discussion in the series where they talk about how they're guided by truth. And they didn't, as often happens when a researcher is doing something and they come up against new understandings that fall outside of conventional understandings, they stop and they don't want to keep going. Gregg and Nassim are devoted to the truth. They just kept going, and which then takes them off on this road less travel, where into these new understandings. And somebody had to do it. We can't live in the ultimate reality that is true and that's here unless we understand how things work. And Gregg Braden and Nassim Haramein do a beautiful job of really unfolding this whole new reality. We did our best to bring their research into this program called Secret Scientific Discoveries. And then there's another program called Forbidden Science that follows that one. So I invite you to just learn about it and do your own research. Go out to their websites. Google Nassim Haramein, Taurus, his organization. Google Gregg Braden. You'll see a lot of important information, science that comes up. A final question. We're just about out of time here, Adil. And Sarah wants to know, she says, what are some of the upcoming Unify events we can look forward to?
Great question. Well, we'll be working really closely. We'll be working really closely with RSF, RTG, Humanities Team, Uplift. There's a whole bunch of us groups that are basically joining forces. And what you can expect is major events on every solstice and equinox. And next year in particular, there's a whole beat frequency of events happening on 01/22/2022, 02/22/2022, 03. So Nassim's big release is on February 22nd, 2022. But then right after that, on March 22nd is World Water Day. There's a number of water technologies and key things that are going to be launched then. Then right after that, on April 22nd is Earth Day, like that. And so, and it continues like, there's World Refugee Day and Yoga Day on June 20th to 22nd. And then another major convergence point on September. I think we've gone from Peace Day to Peace Weekend to Peace Week. They're doing a Peace Week, a week long of all sorts of activities in the, I think September 20th to 27th. I might be wrong, but it's around that window. And then December 21st and 22nd, 2022 will be a major convergence point on the winter solstice. So look out for that. And then of course, Global Oneness Day. What are the dates again for Global Oneness Day?
Global Oneness Day, yeah, October 24. And this year was the 17th of October through the 24th. We'll look into next year. We'll be collaborating on that for sure. It's in the 22 range. So for October, yeah, Unify and Humanities team will work closely together. And it's just bringing out this, it's what this science is about, that, mystics, as conscious viewers, you probably know mystics have shared like for millennia, right? It's an ancient truth that we are all one with the divine, each other, and all of life. And so this is why Humanities team was formed back in 2003, to bring this out into the world. And Global Oneness Day is our big, huge activism event that we do every year, where incredible organizations, Unify, Adil was a part of it, other leaders from Unify, many organizations. There were over 100 speakers, 33 panels this year. And boy, in fact, it's a free viewing weekend. If you go to humanitiesteam.org, it's a free viewing weekend. So you can, today through Sunday, hear the whole summit over again for free. So I invite you to go check that out. Also on the humanitiesteam.org/stream site, you'll see that there, and you'll see everybody. I mean, at the top, there's a browse, and put Deepak Chopra or Marianne Williamson or Desmond Tutu, anybody's name, and you'll see all of the programs come up that they're a part of. Just over the years, we've had so many really wonderful thought leaders come on and share from the heart, their wisdom about how we live consciously. I'll just want to invite you, though, up to viewers. So when we align with our basic nature, which in Humanities team we call it the divine, but we could call it universe or love. When we align with our basic nature and follow our soul's calling, then we bless others and we become blessed. So if you want to reduce it all down to a sentence, that's it, is if you align with your basic nature, which is divine, which is universe, which is love, you will bless others and you will be blessed. Or you could also use the word prosper. You will prosper others and you will be prospered. So, and just this whole old American dream thing that's just all about materiality and financial, and of course financial has a place in our lives, but that really can't be our whole focus. It never brings back the kind of results that we're after. Whereas if we follow our soul's calling, if we align, with who we really are, then all good things happen, and we create this conscious world individually and collectively. Let me come back with my fantastic guest here, Adil Kassam. Adil, Unify. Hey, thank you, brothers and sisters, for partnering with us here during our broadcast this year. And look at, man, we all ought to head up to Vancouver Island. Look at this beautiful place that Adil's hanging out. He's living.
Yeah. I'm living out my apocalypse plan. Just close to the earth, as close to God as possible. Yeah, Steve, what a historic moment we're living in. Hey, it's like the polarity of science and religion is going to unify. That rift, it doesn't really exist actually. The implications of the scientists like Gregg, Braden, and Nassim, the implications of their work is they've proven God through science, through math, and like it's that ancient polarity is over. And we get to witness. It's rare that prophets are known in their own time, but with all the good work that you're doing, and with the power of the things like the internet and the media technologies we have today, we can proliferate and propagate these messages of truth rapidly. And so I really feel like we might be at a very profound inflection point in society right now, with this information and all these technologies coming, coming to, unify us with the deepest truth and longing of our hearts, right? We already know this is true. We've already had our experience of it. It's a very discordant thing when the world doesn't reflect what we know in our inner being. That's all changing. It's an inevitability. Like Nassim said, or was it Gregg and Nassim said, it's like literally God waking up to itself, right? Like consciousness beginning to understand the architecture of itself. Whoa, what are the implications of that?
Exactly. Yeah, off the charts implications, and the whole world needs to understand this science because it points us in a true direction. It points us toward ultimate reality, and how important is that? So, Adil, thank you so much for being with me here, brother. Such a privilege and pleasure. Ryan did a shout out here. He says, "Great program, thank you, Adil and Steve." Ryan, hey, thank you for sharing that. So. Shout out then to also John Raymer, Sign Network. Hey, thank you, brother. All of our friends on the Sign Network, all of our friends at Unify, all of our friends at Humanities Team, the Humanities Stream Plus members. Thanks for being with us. Starting in a couple of weeks, we'll continue this program every week, but we're gonna start doing a watch party every Sunday where we go into Humanities Stream Plus and we're gonna just start watching all of the content, and so you'll hear more about that too. We can maybe do that with you at Unify sometime, do a big watch party where we identify some programs we'd like to watch together here, our two organizations. That'd be fun. Awesome. Okay, everybody. Hey, here's to conscious living. Love, peace, and blessings, everybody. Thanks for being with us. Oh, let's pull back real quick. I want to just show our studio real quick. Here, I'm with Jim Gray. There's Jim over there. Here's me. This is the studio in Boulder, Colorado. I want to shout out to also Karen Gordon, Noah, Dee Meyer, Garth Catterall, Nanette Kennedy. Thank you to all of my partners that create this program and help get it out in the world, and all of our Unify friends too. Hey, thank you all for your assistance with this program. Many thanks, everybody. Okay, love, peace, and blessings. Be back with you Friday next week.